So I thought it would be a good idea just to share what my recipes are based off of, why I combine the certain foods that I do. Are they important? Are they not important? Instead of telling you what you shouldn't be eating, I'm going to be telling you what you should be eating. Where does one even start? Proteins. I'm very excited to be talking about proteins today. I don't know about you, but I'm really tired of people telling me what I shouldn't be eating. I'm pretty sure I know what I shouldn't be eating by now. I'm going to be sharing what you should be eating because I feel like that's a lot more important to know. I'm going to be discussing the 3 macronutrients: fat, carbohydrates, and protein. What are macronutrients? Do we really need them? And are they really important? Macronutrients are very important for our bodies. It's actually something that we can't live without. It's a certain nutrient that we need in large amounts for our bodies in order to keep functioning. It also provides us with calories, which we probably all know by now we need for energy. If we do not have macronutrients, we'll have no energy. Today we're just going to be highlighting one, and in the rest of the videos I will be highlighting the other 2. What is protein? What's actually in protein? What makes protein so important to our bodies? Protein is made up of small compounds known as amino acids. Amino acids, I'm pretty sure you've heard of that somewhere before. They're actually pretty much everywhere. But our body only needs 20, of course in varying amounts, in order to be healthy and function properly. Of these 20, our bodies produce 11 amino acids all by themselves. So what happens to the remaining 9? Well, they're known as essential amino acids. Essential amino acids must come from food. It's something that our bodies can't produce. And of course, the food that it comes from must be protein. And that's why it's so important that we eat foods with protein. So now that we know what protein is and what actually is in protein, what makes it so important? It's so much more important than what people think it is. We are practically made out of protein. Everything within you, from our heart to our brain, to our bones, to our muscles, to our hair, to our nails, to our skin, to our arteries, we are protein. Now we can get a real sense as to how important protein actually is in our bodies. Protein's main job is to build, maintain, and restore all these muscles, tissues, and organs. That's a pretty big job. So where does it come in with our food? Well, protein actually keeps us full. How does protein actually keep us full? Well, protein actually takes longer to digest in our bodies compared to carbs, which means that calorie amount in proteins tend to keep us full longer than, let's say, a piece of toast. And side note, fat actually takes longer to digest than carbs and protein, but we can talk about that in the next post. Which foods actually contain protein? Protein is actually found in lots of meals, in various small amounts, but in most meals. But in order for me to explain this to you, I'm going to have to break it up into complete and incomplete proteins. So what are complete proteins? Well, complete protein are food sources that contain all 9 of the essential amino acids that our body needs to function. Well, actually we need 20, but we spoke about the 11 already being made in our bodies, remember? Some examples of your complete protein food sources include things like fish, dairy, meat, eggs, soy, which is known as tofu, and then you get your superfoods, things like buckwheat, quinoa, and chia seeds. These examples of complete proteins indicate that they contain all 9 essential amino acids. You don't have to combine them with anything or actually do anything to them. They're actually perfectly good for your body just as they are. Let's talk about incomplete proteins. What exactly are they? Well, they're just basically food sources that don't contain all 9 essential amino acids in one food source. A perfect example of this would probably be rice and beans. 2 incomplete proteins that come together to form one complete protein. Do you really have to eat rice and beans together though? No. If you don't like eating rice and beans together, which I do, you can break it up. You can eat, let's say, beans and egg in the morning and rice and chickpea curry in the afternoon. Just keep in mind that all you have to do is eat incomplete proteins throughout the day, because our bodies actually don't store amino acids longer than a day. As long as you consume incomplete proteins throughout the day, you're fine. Your body will put them together, combine them, and they will be known as a complete protein. So what are examples of incomplete proteins? Well, we've already named rice and beans, but then you get your classics, like legumes, things like chickpeas, lentils, red beans, kidney beans, white beans, all those things. Nuts, including nut butters like almond butter or soy butter. Then you get seeds. Even seeds contain protein. All grains contain protein, except for quinoa, which we've already mentioned is a complete protein. But this would be things like oats, rice, pasta, wheat, rye, and yeah. When it comes to veggies, most green things contain protein. This includes things like leafy greens, broccoli, artichokes, asparagus, mushrooms, peas, and Brussels sprouts. I mean, even an iceberg lettuce contains 0.5 grams of protein. So now that we've covered basically everything about protein, the last thing for me to tell you is how much to consume. Which I can't really do because it actually depends on your size and your activity level. What I can tell you is that you should be getting in between 120 grams and 180 grams of protein throughout the day. That's quite a lot, considering that a lettuce head only has 0.5 grams of protein if you're only eating salads. I really hope that this video helped you to understand the essential part of protein in our lives. The next topic we'll be discussing is fats and carbs.